Before Ryan Reynolds and Blake Lively became one of Hollywood's favorite couples, there was someone else. And not just someone, he was engaged. Yep, engaged to one of the biggest musicians of the 90s. Ryan Reynolds and Alanis Morissette were actually planning a wedding. And if that already feels like it happened in another universe, just wait, because some of these couples get even harder to believe. These are 10 celebrity couples you won't believe actually happened. Okay, starting with one that feels like a complete early 2000s fever dream. Before the reality empire, before the billion-dollar businesses, and before everyone knew every detail of her life, Kim Kardashian dated someone who would become famous for knowing basically everyone in Hollywood, Nick Cannon. And honestly, this relationship is such a specific moment in pop culture history. The outfits, the red carpets, the paparazzi photos, everything about it screams 2000s. They dated before Kim became the Kim Kardashian we know today. Then everything changed. Keeping Up with the Kardashians happened. Her fame exploded, and this relationship quietly disappeared from the timeline. Looking back, Kim Kardashian and Nick Cannon might be one of the most 2000s couples that ever existed. This next one was not a Hollywood rumor. Not a few dates, not a quick celebrity fling. 8 years. Before everyone became obsessed with Mila Kunis and Ashton Kutcher ending up together in real life, Mila spent almost a decade with one of the most famous child stars ever, Macaulay Culkin. They started dating in 2002 and stayed together until 2010. And that is why this one shocks people. Because this wasn't some tiny forgotten chapter. It was a full relationship. But they were private. No constant interviews. No reality show. No non-stop drama. And honestly, that might be why everyone forgot. Hollywood remembers chaos. Quiet relationships disappear. Then Mila and Ashton happened, and the relationship before him basically vanished. This next couple is basically early 2000s Hollywood wrapped into one relationship. She was starring in one of the biggest movie franchises in the world. He was becoming Hollywood's mysterious new leading man. And for a minute, they were everywhere. Jake Gyllenhaal and Kirsten Dunst. They reportedly started dating after being introduced by Jake's sister, Maggie. And honestly, at the time, this pairing made complete sense. Kirsten was coming off Spider-Man. Jake was getting major attention after Donnie Darko. They were young, they were cool, they were photographed everywhere. And then they just moved on. No huge scandal, no dramatic breakup headlines, just two people who dated, which apparently is the easiest way for Hollywood to forget you ever happened. Before Jennifer. Before Angelina. Before one of the most talked about relationship timelines in Hollywood history, Brad Pitt had another love story. And this one was serious. Like wedding serious. Brad Pitt and Gwyneth Paltrow were engaged. They met while filming Seven in 1994, and for a while, they were Hollywood's golden couple. The red carpets, the matching blonde hair, the very 90s energy. They got engaged in 1996. A lot of people thought this was going to be Brad Pitt's forever relationship, but they ended things before the wedding. Then came Jennifer Aniston, then Angelina Jolie, and somehow the woman he almost married became the relationship everyone forgets. Before Bennifer. Before the engagement rings. Before one of the most talked about celebrity love stories ever, there was another relationship everyone was watching. And somehow, we barely talk about it anymore. Jennifer Lopez and Diddy. And this one was not exactly hidden. They were everywhere. The red carpets, the award shows, the matching superstar energy. This was late 90s celebrity culture at its peak. A pop star becoming a movie star. A music mogul changing hip-hop. Together, they were one of the most talked about couples in Hollywood. But after their relationship ended, everything changed. Jennifer Lopez entered the Bennifer era. And that story became so massive that somehow J-Lo and Diddy became the relationship before the relationship. One of the biggest celebrity couples of the late 90s turned into a pop culture memory. Peak so yesterday. Okay, this next couple might be the most 90s thing that has ever happened. A global pop superstar, an NBA legend, two people who never followed the rules, and somehow they found each other. Madonna, Dennis Rodman. Honestly, the fact that this happened makes no sense, and also makes perfect sense. Madonna spent her entire career shocking people. Dennis Rodman built an entire image around being unpredictable. So putting them together? Of course the 90s did that. Their relationship was short. It was chaotic. It was everywhere. And it created the kind of headlines that really could only exist in that decade. A couple that everyone talked about, and then somehow everyone forgot. These two seem like they were pulled from completely different worlds. An Oscar-winning actress, a rock star, a quiet relationship, and a secret that most people completely missed. Because they didn't just date, they were engaged. Nicole Kidman, Lenny Kravitz, engaged. Give yourself a second. After Nicole Kidman's very public split from Tom Cruise, she entered a much quieter chapter. And during that time, she started dating Lenny Kravitz. But this wasn't just some casual Hollywood romance. Years later, Nicole revealed that the two had actually been engaged. Yes, Nicole Kidman and Lenny Kravitz almost got married. But because this relationship happened between two much bigger stories, Tom Cruise before, Keith Urban after, it basically disappeared. One of Hollywood's most surprising almost marriages that somehow most people never knew about. Before The Notebook. Before Crazy Stupid Love. Before Ryan Gosling became one of Hollywood's most charming leading men, there was another love story. And this one still surprises everyone. Sandra Bullock, Ryan Gosling. They met in 2001 while filming Murder by Numbers. At the time, Sandra Bullock was already one of Hollywood's biggest stars. Ryan Gosling was still becoming Ryan Gosling. And yes, there was a 16-year age difference, which definitely got people talking. But they dated for almost 2 years. They walked red carpets. They went to events. This was a real relationship. Then they split in 2003. The next year, The Notebook happened. Ryan entered a completely new chapter. And somehow, the woman he dated right before one of the biggest romance movies ever became the relationship everyone forgot. Remember the couple from the beginning? Let's talk about it. Before Blake Lively. Before the internet decided Ryan Reynolds had the perfect Hollywood marriage, there was another story, and this one was serious. Ryan Reynolds, Alanis Morissette. They weren't just dating, they were planning forever. Ryan and Alanis started dating in the early 2000s, and in 2004, they got engaged. At the time, Alanis was one of the biggest musicians of her generation. Ryan was still rising in Hollywood. For years, they looked like they might actually make it. But their engagement ended in 2007. Then, Ryan went on to other relationships. Scarlett Johansson, eventually Blake Lively, and one of Hollywood's most recognizable couples was born. But before all of that, there was Alanis, a 4-year relationship, an engagement, a wedding that never happened, almost completely erased by what came after. Okay, we have reached number 1. And honestly, this is the couple where everyone has the exact same reaction. Wait, what? A music legend, a future Hollywood icon, a 16-year age difference, and somehow, Cher and Tom Cruise happened. Yes, Cher and Tom Cruise actually dated. It sounds like someone randomly picked two celebrities out of a hat, but it happened. They met in the 1980s. Cher was already an entertainment icon. Tom Cruise was becoming one of the biggest young stars in Hollywood. The relationship was private, and because it happened before the internet documented everything, a lot of people either forgot or never knew. But every time this story resurfaces, the reaction is exactly the same. Cher and Tom Cruise? Some celebrity couples are surprising, some are unexpected, but this one feels like it happened in another universe. And that is why it takes the #1 spot. Looking back, some of these relationships feel like they happened in a completely different timeline. Some were quiet, some were forgotten, and others turned into the celebrity breakups everyone remembers. Because some Hollywood relationships didn't just end, they exploded.